So welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. As I mentioned, as we started going live, we're super excited to have you here with us tonight. I am joined by one of my new friends, Robyn Cherniak. And did I pronounce that right, Robyn? I hope. She's giving me pronunciation lessons. So Robyn and I have a really powerful story to share with you. And when she and I connected, let me give you a little bit of her background and a little bit of my background, and then we'll tell you all about Boulder and why you guys came to hear this tonight. So some of you that have been on my lives before, my background's actually been managing litigation for crane and rigging companies. Robyn and I share that passion as well. She's an environmental engineer. And so both of us are very analytical. We look for scientific evidence. We want the clinical proof, right? And so we certainly shared that. But what really honestly connected us more than anything else is our dogs. So I have had Malamutes for almost 30 years now. And unfortunately, I've lost a lot of my dogs to health issues, to cancer at young ages, to bloat, to pyometra, to anaphylactic shock, and then to Lou Gehrig's disease or degenerative myelopathy in dogs. And so when Robyn and I connected, it was because she has had some health issues with some of her dogs as well, too. And so we share this passion for analytics, but honestly, the thing that really mattered to both of us is our dogs are a big part of our lives. They're part of our family. And so Robyn's story about what she was going through with Boulder, she reached out on Facebook and asked people for some ideas, for some help. What could she do to help Boulder? Because she was doing things that she had never discovered before. So Robyn, before we start the video, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and about your dogs and your whole family of dogs that you have besides just Boulder?
Okay, like Michelle said, I'm an environmental engineer. I'm out near the Buffalo, New York area, and I've had dogs pretty much all my lives. Grew up in a country girl, and right now I'm sad to say I'm down to 3 labs. I have my big guy Boulder, yellow lab. I have my little black lab named Lola, and I have my old girl. She's 13-year-old Chocolate Hershey. She's the old matriarch. I lost her sister just about 2 years ago now to kidney failure. She really came down with it New Year's Eve, and I'm gonna cry already, especially talking about Maddie. She was my best girl, and just I've had so many issues with these guys. You can't give up on them. I just keep finding a way to help them. I've got wonderful supportive parents that help like crazy. My Hershey has that intervertebral disc disease on her neck, and my dad would literally drive to my house, pick her up, bring her to me by my office, which was closer to a chiropractic vet who has since retired, for cold laser therapy. When she would have issues, it was almost every other day we were going. We got her through that. She was 8 years old when she came down to it, and 5 years later, she's still going, and she's still going great. So those are my babies. We live out in the country, and they've got their pond, they've got their creek, they got a big backyard, and they just love to play.
And you have had Boulder since he was a pup. I saw a baby picture of him, right?
Yeah, my big fat yellow lab. That was the biggest puppy I've ever seen. His head was just monstrous, and his head is still huge. I can't span the top of his head with my hand.
He's a beautiful dog. He's got an old English block head for a lab. Just love that. So, Robyn, as we get started here tonight, one of the things I wanted to give everybody a background on is when Boulder started getting sick, and started showing symptoms, you being the scientist, the environmental engineer, wanted to document this for your vet. And I know that you told me it was really important that the vet could see what you were seeing on a daily basis. And so all of these videos that you took, it was long before you and I ever met. And you were just taking these videos for your vet, right? To see somebody that could help Boulder.
Yeah, anybody, because there were days, you go to a vet's office and they walk them around a little bit, and just sometimes a little bit's not enough. I showed the videos. I have my own personal vet that everybody goes to, very caring. They watched everything with me. But again, there in the early beginning of this, there were days where he was okay, and it was only a little wobble here and there, a little drag of the foot. And we had an ugly winter around here, and I usually walk all the dogs together, and we weren't able to really start that up again until March. And I was watching his walk, and I just was seeing different changes, and needed to find out why. So I kept taking pictures, taking some videos, just to, one, tell myself I wasn't seeing things and that there was something going on. And that way I could show it to one vet, two vets, three vets that I would wind up taking them to.
And that's actually what people are going to see right here tonight. Is you're going to see some of the videos from that she compiled from Boulder. So can you still see that on your feed, Robyn?
I still see it. There he is in the snow.
So Boulder, so you'll hear him, sometimes she calls him Bubba in this presentation. And as she mentioned, he's 8 years old, and isn't he coming up on his 9-year-old birthday pretty soon?
Yes, yep, October 4th, he will be turning 9.
Perfect. So what you're gonna see here is Boulder playing with who?
That's Lola. That's his 10-year-old sister right now. Lola actually had a heart condition when she was 6 months old, and we had to take her to Cornell Animal Hospital and have heart surgery.
Oh my gosh.
So I really, we picked some winners.
You've had a rough time. So you've had vertebral disease with Hershey, heart disease issues with Lola, and now you've got this going on with Boulder. So you've been through the ringer. One of the things that we're going to show now is one of those videos where you were taking the dogs on a walk, and so she mentioned to you Hershey's got some vertebrae issues. So Hershey's in the stroller, Robyn's put in the stroller, and you see Boulder and Lola out in front. So tell us what you've documented in this video here, Robyn.
Okay. This is Hirsch in their stroller. She can't walk very far, so I push her along. Boulder and Lola out front. When I had 5 dogs together, they would all just walk right in a loop. But right now, what I was seeing with Boulder's tail, his tail would move funny, but he would have, it almost looked like to me, oh my God, is his spine broke? Because his butt was just so wobbly and wiggly in every different direction. And that's what I first noticed. And we slowed this down over here, and he's not a normal walk. If you watch Lola, you see she's just very.
Let me take that back for people to see, because I think this is really important for them to notice, because when I first saw this video, that's what I noticed was his tail, right? So you can see Lola's tail going right, left, right, left, right, left, very rhythmically. And you see Boulder's tail going up and down, and it's kind of spastic and sideways and diagonal. And that's a reflection of his tail not getting the nerve signals from his brain on a consistent basis, right?
Right. Or what I found out later is why his tail was doing that, and his poor little legs.
Right. Now, and so we showed you the slow motion version because one of the things that she noticed a lot was he wasn't consistently wagging his tail. And anybody that's ever been around a lab, you know that their tails are lethal, that they're always wagging them, knocking things over, batting you in the leg with them. And so even though he was happy, he loved going on walks, his tail was down below. So that's one of the things that Robyn first kind of caught her attention. What you're going to see on this next video is what we call bunny hopping. So when a dog starts having some issues with his brain and his legs getting the same message from his nerves, instead of walking with their right leg and then their left leg, they will move both their right and left leg together. And so the rear looks like what we call bunny hopping. The other thing you'll see in slow-mo is as Boulder is running, you don't notice it at first when he's walking, but when he's running, he has a hard time turning his right leg over, his right rear leg. And so instead of the bottom of his feet, his pad, the top of his paw is going to be dragging on the ground. So let's get you going on that. Let you see this.
And playing ball was the most favorite thing ever for him. Every day, that's all he would ball, 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 ball.
So you can see he's kind of starting to get a little bit of a stilted gait right now. And you said you would throw the ball hundreds of times in the backyard for him.
And then he would go 100 feet, 150 feet chasing the ball. And now I could only throw it. I felt safe enough to throw it maybe 20, 30 feet. And then it became 4 or 5 feet just in front of him to keep him happy. Like, this is my happy dog. I call him Happy sometimes because that's just one of the most favorite things he does, is he just loves to play ball. And it was one of the hardest things for me is when he couldn't play ball anymore, and he just doesn't understand why.
Okay, so you're going to make us all cry already.
I know.
We're going to
Sorry.
get further through this. So what I wanted to point out to people is watch in the slow motion what's happening to the back right rear leg, and both as he's running across the yard and as he comes back towards us. And so this was about 2 months after you saw him walking along the street with Robyn. So this is June 11th, and that first video was the beginning of April. So as he's coming back towards us, we slowed this down so you could really see his right rear leg, how he's losing control of it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, this starts with one leg. It's called ataxia, and then it eventually spreads to both rear legs if they have some signal problems with their nerves.
I should have brought tissues.
Yeah, I told you. I forewarned you.
I thought I'd jinx myself.
So it's going to get harder before it gets better. What we see on the next video is he's really starting to get wobbly, and this is just 4 days after the last video. So he's stumbling to the right there. And you can tell it's hard for him to walk because he's basically using his front legs to kind of do most of the work for his body. And the other thing that happens with dogs that have nerve signal problems is he can't lift his legs. So you see that very commonly with male dogs is they no longer can lift their legs. So first you'll see them just lifting it a little bit, and then you see them trying to squat. And here with Boulder, you saw him they don't squat like a female does. They actually kind of have to spread their legs out in front of them. And you'll see that here as an example. Otherwise, they'll fall over when they're trying to go potty. And we don't have a picture of it, but and I'm going to stop that there for a second. So that's the position that you will notice dogs getting in. It's the only way they can kind of keep themselves stable by spreading their legs out and giving them a little bit more balance. The other thing I don't know if Boulder ever got to this part. We've actually never talked about this. Did he have any bowel or bladder problems? Did he have any accidents or anything yet? Because that's certainly the progression.
Nope, he never did. And only one time when he was going poop, he fell over probably from the strength of pushing and being wobbly. And that was a mess, but that was only one time. He kind of learned how to, really quick almost, how to support himself when he was doing that.
They're very adaptive.
And sad to watch him learn within days of how to make it easier on himself.
Right. And okay, so as we're here, Robyn, let me start this again. And I'm hoping everybody's getting a good live stream here. Here you see Boulder loves to play ball, but it was really changing. You could almost not play with him. So these two are heartbreaking. These were hard for me to watch when you sent me these videos. So you're kicking the ball instead of throwing it.
Yeah, just a few feet in front of him.
Sweet Boulder.
Yeah, this one is gonna. He gets right back up, that's him. He's tough.
Aren't they? Yeah. So what we see here, Robyn, you actually ordered some wheels for him. And this was at the end of June. And so tell us the story about the wheels. They're not called a wheelchair, but the wheels that you can order for dogs that are having issues.
I got him the rear wheels. We ordered it online. It came in, put it together, and I gave him a few days to get adjusted to it, here and there, putting him in it. And then with treats in hand, getting him to walk with it a little bit. But right away, I noticed that it was supposed to be adjustable widthwise, and it's not. And Boulder has a big enough bum that he didn't fit really well. So I wound up actually contacting the manufacturer, said, your ad was deceiving. I can't adjust this thing. Can I send it back? They let me, and I went back online to another company that was a more expensive but a larger set of wheels for him. And a week and a half, 2 weeks later, that was delivered. And I almost didn't want to put it together, but I did. And
philanthropy. You didn't want to put it together because you knew he would need it.
Yeah, but could tell him the good part now.
Not yet. So I want them to see. Here we go.
Yeah, let him watch.
The good
Let
part.
him, this is me calling him to me with a treat, I think, is this next
Yes.
slide.
When you were trying the wheelchair, the wheels that you bought for him. So
Oh,
this
they
is
come-
June 30th, 3 months after you first started noticing the problems, right?
Oh, that's my buddy. He'd try anything.
We want you to tell us the story about what happened after you got Boulder Nrf2 activated, because once he was Nrf2 activated, you got rid of that oxidative stress in his body, and it allows his own body to start optimizing its own health. So let's look at what happened once you got him Nrf2 activated, and you can talk us through this story. So tell us where you like to go.
One of all of our favorite places, Hershey's, Boulder's, Lola's, mine, is a beach out here in near Angola. It's Lake Erie. It's beautiful water, and he was feeling pretty good. My Hershey was feeling pretty good, and I wanted to take him there. And part of this is going to be self-explanatory. This is Boulder. Now, granted, I can't throw the ball as far as I normally would have, but if we play this now, you're going to see an amazing change in this guy. And this was just in August. So not a very long time from one of the lowest points that we had to now. That's my big guy chasing the ball across the sand beach. Oh, there comes Hershey. And he's walking pretty good, guys.
Yeah, not dragging the rear leg at all. He does a little bunny hop when he goes into the water here, but then he straightens himself out and he's swimming. And I know you said you were thinking of getting him involved in, what were you thinking of getting him involved in?
I was researching places to take him for water therapy. All the research that I have been doing these last few months said water therapy would be great, acupuncture would be great, all kinds of different things that we could try. And as I'm researching this, I'm noticing that, wow, Boulder just went up the stairs by himself instead of me picking my 110-pound guy up and carrying him up the stairs. And my dad, when he would come over to help him at lunchtime to give them a potty break, he was picking him up. My dad's 71, and
carrying him outside.
Realized he's getting better, and he didn't need those set of wheels. His tail was wagging. His almost like he was smiling again. He's happy. He's my buddy again. There's no more of him turning around, looking at his back legs and his hind area and saying, "What is wrong?" And I kid you not, guys, that dog would turn and look at me like, "What is wrong?" This was taken in our backyard just a few days ago, one morning before work, playing ball a little bit. And mind you, that's only about half the normal distance because I'm still scared. I almost didn't want to post any of the good news because I'm superstitious and I was afraid I was going to jinx myself and jinx Boulder. I used to throw that ball twice as far, and I truly believe he'll be back to that again one of these days where that ball can get thrown all the way to the wood line and he's going to go get it.
That would be wonderful.
Look at that walk. He's not really dragging that foot anymore. He's left, right, left, right. He's not bunny hopping. And I noticed one of the best things is I now have to put the blankets back on the brown couch because my yellow lab can now climb back up on the couch and curl up in his favorite chair and his pillow over here. And he hadn't been able to do that for months. So we're working on it. One of these days he'll get back up on the bed to snuggle in bed. So that's a little bit higher than the couch, but I'll take every little bit we get.
Yeah. I told Robyn when I saw these pictures with my dogs, that was one of the biggest things that I noticed is they wouldn't climb back into their black leather chair. They couldn't get into their black leather chair. And so when she told me, even before she got the picture, she said, I found yellow lab hair on my couch. I found yellow lab hair on my couch. And so I know how big of a deal this is, because for both Robyn and I, when you see an animal getting better, they don't know that
Yeah.
the pill they're taking is supposed to make them better. They're just feeling better, and it's just, your heart jumps for joy. It just completely changes how you feel, because you know you've been able to help them a little bit. So go ahead.
I'll do anything for these guys. I do anything for them. So they're my babies.
Yeah, and that's obvious, Robyn. So I know what we see here is a quote. For me, when I first started doing Nrf2 with my dogs and with myself, there's a quote out of Washington State that it's Nrf2 has the potential to become the most therapeutic and preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. And, you know, the words on a clinical study are important to you and I. I think that was important to both of us when we looked at this. But the words on a paper, they don't matter like the paw prints that you see, right? And so this is see, I'm crying. You're not supposed to make me cry. It's your dog, not my dog.
Right? Yeah, but it's because we both love this. The reason we're doing this is so we can help other animals. If there's anybody else out there that their dogs have this,
Right.
there's help out there. I thought there was nothing I could do. I thought within the way that he was progressing so fast that I was going to see his back end paralyzed, the front end go, and then the breathing go. And he's playing at the beach within a couple of months. I can't ask for anything else. And I really wish I had a better picture of me and him.
Well, I know your dad comes over. You said every day to kind of let them out during the middle of the day, and your dad. What did your dad tell you?
I kept telling him to stop saying this because I didn't want to jinx it, but my dad calls this a miracle. He keeps telling me it's a miracle. It's a miracle. And it is. It really is. I don't know what else to say it. It's something's helping my big guy.
And what you know, when Robyn told me that, you know, our Nrf2 activator, it doesn't treat, cure, prevent, or mitigate any disease. What it does is, it's not the pill that's the miracle. It's our bodies, right? It's my body, it's your body, it's Boulder's body. Our bodies have been designed to learn how to take care of themselves. It's just turning on that light switch for them, turning on the genes so that their genes can protect them instead of hurting them. And so I know for you, for me, this was a really big deal. It's changing not only Boulder's quality of life, but your quality of life, your dad's quality of life. And
I take it. My other girls are taking it. My dad actually just put his 10-year-old pug mix on it. It won't hurt him. It's only going to help him. And put it this way, I wasn't going to give him anything that I wasn't safe with for myself. So
I like that too, because they're taking something that we're taking. It was tested on humans first. And I know we have a lot of naturopaths, equine vets, regular vets, holistic vets, even a vet who developed HeartGuard and ivermectin when he was at Merck. So he was kind of the creme de la creme of research vets. And he's actually come out of retirement because he believes in Nrf2 making such a big difference for animals, horses, dogs, cats, all mammals. Our genes, our Nrf2 pathway works the same in all of us. And so for me, that was a big deal as well. The credentials of the people that believe in this science, the clinical studies that reinforce this. But Robyn, your story tonight, like, we can read paper after paper after paper.
Which I did, right? I read over everything I could on this, on the disease, on everything I could get my hands on, and they're my babies. I'm going to try anything. So, and this was a miracle, and it worked.
And the vets were pretty much telling you there's really not much you can do, right? That was kind of you could do acupuncture, or you could do some water therapy, but there really wasn't going to be much that changed the outcome.
Right, and they were giving me timelines of, it could be 6 months, it could be 2 years, but they were also scared that how fast he was coming down with this. I mean, he went from April to mid-June, and every day I saw him declining even faster and faster, and nobody could believe how quickly he was going downhill. And then how quickly he was coming out the other side. So I'm going to thank Michelle every day for the rest of my life and Boulder's life for messaging me on the dozens of boards that I joined of anybody that could possibly give me some insight into this and what I can do to help my Bubba. And Michelle, thank you.
So,
sorry.
So this is not the professional end to this that either of us wanted, but I lost so many dogs to diseases from being inbred, and tightly inbred, right? And so you get what's called inbreeding depression, and their genes just aren't as resilient, and they start getting genetic diseases. And it sounds like you've had that same issue with your labs. I've certainly had it with my Malamutes. And so for me, every time I lost a dog to something, when I lost my 6-year-old to cancer, I went and started doing research about cancer. When I lost my dogs, I've lost several dogs to degenerative myelopathy from both the litters that I bred, in puppies that I sold to other people. So just a horrible, horrific guilt. I've lost dogs to anaphylactic shock. I've lost dogs to bloat. And every time I lose a dog, I just vow that I'm going to go find something that's going to help them. And for me, when I saw this and I saw the testimonials from dog people, and I know, like, dogs don't know, they don't fake it. They don't fake it. And when I saw the testimonials about how their lives were being changed, for me, there's so many things that this is able to do, because again, it's the body helping heal the body, not some outside supplements, the body helping heal the body. And so I feel like my dogs didn't die in vain. And so, some of the stuff that you're doing, Robyn, are things that I tried that worked a little bit for my dogs and helped slow them. It's not just being Nrf2 activated. I know Robyn would love to share the story with you. It's really kind of been both of our missions now, is we want to help other people whose dogs, whose horses, and we want to help people too. But
my focus is more on dogs.
But
sorry.
They
can't help themselves.
Right. Exactly. They can't go to the pharmacy and tell the pharmacist, this is what I'm feeling. And so it takes an owner understanding what's going on with their dog's bodies. And so I have to commend Robyn, because it's so important that you get activated right away, that you get them activated as a preventative, not just in response to something's going on. So like I said, she's got Lola activated, right? Lola's not limping. She's not lame. So it's both great on the preventative side as well as the reactive side. And so whatever you're doing with your dogs, like Robyn and I would just love to share this with you. We'd love to help your dogs as much as it's helped us and our dogs,
I had to get this out there. If there's just one dog that I can help with this story, it's making it all worth it. So I really hope there's a lot of people out there that I can help, but even if it's just one little pup, it'll make it worth it. So
exactly how I feel about it. We are paying it forward, and so we are all going to expect updates on Boulder. I know a lot of people are going to be asking, and we have a YouTube of just the videos without us talking over it, and we will share that underneath the Facebook post. So again, for those of you that are live on Facebook with us, if you haven't typed in what kind of dogs you have, how many dogs you have, certainly do that. You can reach out to either Robyn or I on Facebook. It's CIERNIAK, right? Cherniak, Buffalo, New York. And so we'd love to help you. We'd love to give you some of those clinical studies we saw. And we have other testimonials that we can share with you that are just going to blow your mind. So
I'm going to keep taking videos and pictures of Boulder and just keep documenting this as much as I can. And even my other girls. So, well, the two girls.
Vet, by the way, your vet hasn't seen him yet, right? When do
Actually, you don't know this. I have an appointment with my old time vet that I love him. He's the best. And we have an appointment on Monday at 3:50 so that he can see Boulder and how he's doing. And it's really actually for Lola to go get her liver levels checked. But Boulder's going too, so that Doc Robinson can see how good he's doing. And he's just going to be amazed, because actually Doc Robinson's dog a few years ago, Hank, was a big yellow lab, just like my guy. He lost him to this. So this is personal for Doc Robinson just as much as anybody else. And I only wish we knew more about this back then, because Hank was a wonderful big dog, and he was the office mascot, the blood donor, the keep everybody calm kind of guy. So
Well, they won't all have passed in vain, and that's kind of my vow. And I know I have a partner in crime here now to help spread the news. And we're, you know, people keep saying, "Why do you talk about Nrf2?" This is why.
yeah,
This is why I don't stop talking about it. So I always sign off from my Facebook Lives. Robyn, you don't know this. And by the way, let me just say one other thing. Robyn didn't start to sell this. She started as a customer for 2 months, in 3 months almost now. She's just been a customer, but she said, I've got to tell other people. I've got to help other dogs. So this was not a testimonial from somebody who had a vested interest in this. This was a dog whose life was changed, and that's why she's involved now. So for those of you that know me, you know I always sign off the way my foster son used to say goodbye to me. Robyn, you don't know this, but my foster son used to always tell me he loved me to God and back. So sending that message to everybody that we love you to God and back. Get your dogs Nrf2 activated. Get your horses Nrf2 activated. Get the people you love, the animals you love, get them Nrf2 activated. Thank you, everybody. We'll answer any questions you might have. Hope y'all have a blessed night.
Thank you.
Thanks, Robyn, for sharing your story. And give Boulder a kiss.
Yeah, he can't believe you don't hear him snoring over here next to me.
Perfect.
So,
Night, everybody.
guys.